What's up, y'all? It's Neo, and today's natural tip is going to be about breastfeeding. Now, this is not medical information. I am not a medical practitioner. Please consult with your physician if you feel like you need to, and please also make sure you're consulting with your child's pediatrician as well if that's what you need to do. But as always, make sure you check in with yourself because you are your first physician. My first tip is going to be, I know most people talk about sleep when the baby sleep, but no, eat when the baby eat, because I guarantee you, baby, you gonna need it. You gonna need that nourishment, and it's gonna be times where you feeling like, oh, I can just eat after I get the baby down. No, every time that baby gets a boob or a bottle in its mouth, you need to be putting something in your mouth, because just as you are feeding and nourishing them, you have to feed and nourish yourself. I know they may not tell you, but a lot of people may not get their cycles when they are breastfeeding. And a lot of times this can act as a natural contraceptive. However, do your own research. My next tip is going to be feed your baby, not the freezer. Feed your baby, not the freezer. Feed your baby, not the freezer. I had to say it 3 times so you make sure you understand. You are not there to create a big gallon supply of milk. You are there to feed that baby or those babies. You're not there to create a stash for your freezer. That is optional, and that is if you have an overproduction. However, if you are sitting there trying to force yourself to pump, if you're sitting there, your nipples going raw because you're trying to pump, you are creating a whole bunch of, it's either lactate or lactose, I think it's lactose, in the milk, and it's creating not necessarily a lactose intolerance, but it is creating a lactose overproduction in your milk. Not only this, but within those first 6 months, you're literally just regulating your milk supply. You are not necessarily trying to create an excess of stash because you're still hormonally going through so many different changes. Babies don't even really regulate themselves until around 6 months to be able to sustain their own things like their iron, or sustain things like their vitamin B's and stuff like that. Food before 1 is just for fun. Food before 1 is just for fun. Food before 1 is just for fun. Do not pressure yourself to wean your baby off before the ages of really 4 is when it's naturally supposed to happen, but commonly it's 2. Anything before that, again, the baby is relying heavily on breast milk and formula for its primary nutrients. If you're feeding your baby solid foods at 3 and 4 months, you're not even giving their digestive system time to get right. You're not giving the glands in their mouth time to develop the enzymes needed to break down the starches, break down the sugars that you're giving them. And not only that, but the flora in their bacteria, their microbiome in their bacteria, the microbiome in their gut is not necessarily ready for all of that. It's only ready to be able to handle and process breast milk, or if you go the formula direction, but breast milk. A little bonus tip: breast milk is magical, so go look at what it looks like under a microscope. It's beautiful. It literally looks like the cosmos. Coconut water is good for kids over 6 months. Based on the research that I've done, again, do your own research. Coconut water is a great option when it comes to getting those electrolytes, and if all else fails, you can also do lemonade, natural lemonade. I'm not talking about lemonade you buy in the store. I'm talking about the one you make yourself with some agave, no honey before 1, some coconut sugar, something like that. You don't even have to put sugar in it, but just make sure it has the lemon and the salt for the absorption of those electrolytes. Speaking of electrolytes, that also applies to you as well. You need to be making sure you are electrifying your body, because not only do you have to stay hydrated so you don't dry out yourself, but you have to stay hydrated so that your milk supply does not decrease. Hydration is key in breastfeeding. Don't listen at them MFs that sit there and be like, you gotta cover up. You can't do this. You can't feed your baby out in public. You got to go to a room. You got to go to the bathroom. Why do I have to step away from society to do something that shouldn't even be seen as a sexual act anyway? But let alone, if the baby was drinking out of a bottle, there wouldn't be so much chatter. But it's only so much chatter because you do not like, or I'm not going to say you, I'm going to say society doesn't like for women to have control over the very vessels that were sent here to nurture these souls and these beings. Another tip, if your baby is having any skin issues, if you are having any skin issues, if you feel yourself getting a little sniffle, drink that breast milk, rub that breast milk on. You can mix it with some butters, you can mix it with some oils, and make you a little skin cream or make you a lotion for the whole family, not just for the baby, for the whole family. That breastfed baby does not necessarily need more than 5 ounces at a time. This is not formula we working with. This is not a pre-made solution that you got to mix up with some water. This is something that is composed literally for specifically that baby's genetic code. Okay, it is smart, it is intelligent. Just like water, it holds consciousness. Breast milk is beyond intelligence. Like I said, go look at it under a microscope. So don't sit there and feel shame for yourself if you only pumping 2 or 3 ounces at a time. That's all the baby needs, because probably that's all the baby is getting when it's latching onto the boob anyway. And also, speaking of, make sure you're alternating, because you could end up with 2 different size boobs. Is eating on one side, pump on the other side. Try to keep it consistent. I think that's about all I got for right now. I probably can come up with some more later and get them back to you guys. But let me know down in the comments what your most interesting tip in this video was. And also feel free to share some information that would promote holistic wellness in the area of postpartum and breastfeeding care. All right. I am grateful to be able to serve my community, and I'm grateful to be able to be here for you guys. If you guys need anything, just let me know. I shave, baby.